much logic to that. 5 and 2 is pretty bad. The argument, however, would be that it would be 5 and 1, right? The argument would be that an active involuntary euthanasia, so this would be active involuntary, V-O-L-U-N-T. Okay, the argument would be that an active involuntary euthanasia would be the worst. It's active because someone in the medical community is actively contributing directly to the death of the individual, and that individual is protesting that death. I don't want to die, I refuse to die, but I'm in a condition where I can't defend myself, or I can't protect myself. I'm fully cognizant, I have full understanding, I have not consented, and I am going to be euthanized despite my discontent, right? So active voluntary euthanasia would obviously be the worst form of euthanizing an individual. Obviously, active involuntary euthanasia was what happened in Nazi Germany, right? Nazi Germany, as sort of its modus operandi, endorsed this idea of active involuntary euthanasia because what happened was individuals were pre-selected to be euthanized, right? So people with physical impairment, physical disabilities, those people were viewed as being those people, right? Not us. Those people were targeted. Those people were selected to be euthanized to sort of clean up the gene pool, quote unquote. And obviously, despite their myriad of protests, they were still euthanized, right? So that active involuntary euthanasia is definitely the worst form of euthanasia. You can then do varying degrees of hierarchy, right? You can then say that passive involuntary would be something that would be problematic, right? It's passive because someone's allowed to die. It's involuntary because they are forced. Then you might say, and you could create a list, and so it doesn't necessarily have to be the case, but just to get an idea, a concept of how these combinations lead to different situations, right, is important, right? There are different situations that might require a different sort of conceptual mode of analysis. This would be obviously different from 5 plus 2, right, which would be passive involuntary. The person's allowed to die, and they're fully cognizant of it. That would be different from a non-voluntary, right, that was active. A non-voluntary or a passive non-voluntary, an active non-voluntary, and so on and so on and so on and so on. So you can make combination of these. There are certain things that you can't do. As I said before, you can't have 5 and 4 because of the contradiction. There's no knowledge in 4, there is knowledge in 5. But I'm not going to go into too much more detail on this. I think that's enough information so that you have a good general understanding of the different forms of euthanasia, what it means, what are some of the benefits of this form of euthanasia, what are some of the disadvantages of this form of euthanasia, what theoretically is the worst form of euthanasia, and then you can start to mix and match these different forms to create different scenarios and different methods in which you'd have to deal with varying situations within a community of people, either looking to end their own life, looking to have a family member or a medical provider assist them, or being forced, having their life taken from them. This will be the first part of a new discussion on sort of end of life, death, dying, thanatology, and I'll do that for a while, and then I'll move on to some other topic. But I just felt like I needed to just briefly put out this information into cyberspace, just to make further contributions to an understanding of euthanasia. I appreciate you taking the time watching my video today. I'm Dr. Jason J. Campbell. Thank you, and have a good day.